So it's Christmas Eve. It's about 12:30 in the middle of the night, and I can't sleep because I'm too excited to open something that I bought for myself for Christmas. If you had my horrible luck this past holiday shopping season, you've constantly struck out over and over and over and over again trying to find an SNES classic. So the NES was more of my older brother's system, but the SNES was exactly what I grew up with. That was my system. And by not being able to find one, I felt so defeated. I felt so broken and crushed every time I went to Target and it wasn't there. Because, you know, where I live, there's this one Asian lady. They tell me this every time, especially when the NES Classic first came out. And then the SNES Classic, they told me the same thing. There's this old Asian lady who comes an hour before the store opens, just waits there. And she cleans them all out every single time. And I get there right when it opens. They told me, hey, that Asian lady took it again. So that Asian lady, if I ever see you, if I find out what your seller name is and you're jacking up those prices for us consumers out there who want to buy these items, you're a bad person. You're going on the naughty list. So with my constant defeat or my lack of finding SNES Classic, I had to find an alternative. And this item right here behind me, over here, this thing right here is my alternative. I was thinking to myself, paying for these inflated prices, going from $130 to $250. I even saw this one ridiculous post on Amazon where this guy selling the SNES Classic for like $500,000. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. So for about the inflated price of an SNES Classic, I picked up a Pandora Box 5S, and this is a 999 in one game system. Let's unbox this and check it out. So for everybody's sake, I sped up the video just a little bit so we can get through the contents of the box. First up, we have a USB cable, and I've read that this is for actually plugging into a PC or a video game console to use the joysticks with that console or PC. So I have yet to test it, but we will test it in the next video. Next, we have the VGA followed by the HDMI cable. These are actually really good quality cables, guys. This is the AC portion of the power brick, and we have a European or international outlet adapter right there, followed by the butt of the power brick. So that's pretty much the contents of the box. They did add 2 additional buttons for, you know, occasional mishaps or wear and tear on your device over time. And finally, the instruction manual. Wow, brain fart, I couldn't think of that for a second. But as I pull out the Pandora box itself, I'm just gonna round up the numbers and say it's 26 inches by 9 inches by 3 inches. So there's a pretty good size, pretty good heft and weight to it as well. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels pretty good in the hands. So you're gonna carry it around. But as I place it on this table, you can tell that it was made to last, and hopefully it does. So here's a bit of an overhead view of the device itself. There's a cool graphic variety from Street Fighter right on there with Pandora 5. So we'll get into a little bit, especially the mechanics and the physical aspect of it. As you can hear in the background, you can hear that the buttons are extremely clicky, so hopefully with this replacement button, future replacement parts will feel the same, have the same clickiness. Moving on to the player 2 side, it all feels the same, feels pretty even. The joystick is nice and clicky as well, and that's how I like it clicky. As we move on to the back of the device, you can see from left to right that there's a speaker grill right there, followed by the power switch, and then you'll see the 3 or 4, actually 5 different inputs in the back. So we'll see what they're for. Let's zoom in just a little tiny bit. So starting with the ports closest to the power switch from left to right, we have our AC adapter in, followed by an HDMI and a VGA port. Next to that is an auxiliary output for the sound, followed by the volume rocker for the built-in speakers. So in my next video, I'm going to go in greater detail on what the best outputs are, if it's HDMI or VGA, and what the best external solution is for the audio. But the built-in speakers are pretty decent on this thing. And then the last 2 things we have there are the USB ports. So I have to test that out in the next video as well to see if they really do work on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, what other consoles we could plug these joysticks in to actually use those joysticks for those consoles. So the setup I'm going to go for today is very simplistic, just a AC adapter in and a VGA cable plugged into an old monitor that does have a screen ratio of 4:3, or really close to a 4:3 screen ratio, so it's shaped like a square. I only mention that because I want the most authentic feel with my first experience with the Pandora Box 5S, because back then arcades weren't in widescreen, they were at a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is generally just a square. But with that said, I will have a second thorough and detailed video about each little aspect of the Pandora Box 5S, about what the best display is, what the best audio output is, even going through the settings, just going really detailed about what this device can do. And here are the lights. They look so good. But with that said, I'm going to go back over to the main microphone. And this thing, as I mentioned earlier, does have built-in speakers, and they can get pretty loud. There's also, as I said earlier, there's an auxiliary input, so you can put it out to whatever speakers you want. So as you can hear, the joystick is really clicky, and from my preference, I love clicky joysticks. I'll do another video in the future to just go through a rundown of all the games on this thing, because as I said earlier, there are 999 games on this thing, and if I were to go through each one right now, this would be a good couple hour long video. So let's just pop in one of my favorite Metal Slugs, Metal Slug 2. So supposedly this Pandora Box, oh, that's really loud. The speakers aren't even up all the way, so let's just turn it on. So those are the speakers up all the way. You can't really tell the quality of it because of the microphone, but it can get loud enough to where I'll start clipping the noise a little, or clipping the sound a little bit. So let's see I hate to leave you guys on a tease, but that's actually all the footage that I have for tonight. But remember, as I've said over and over again throughout this video, stay tuned and I will have a more thorough video with the Pandora Box 5S and go through every little feature and facet of it. So remember to stay active on my channel, like, comment, and subscribe so you guys can see all the latest videos from WoW VJ's LTR. And for sure, by next week I will have the Pandora Box 5S in a more thorough, detailed look. Thank you guys once again for all of the support. I am up to 700 subscribers now, and that is so exciting. I'm so happy. I wouldn't be able to get this far without you guys. So let's move on. Let's get to 1,000. Bye guys.